Mishna in Pirkei Avos, the second parak, the seventh Mishnah, is a very interesting Mishnah. Mishnah says, "Hu I Omer," he would say, "Marba Zil, Marba Basar, Marba Rima." The more meat a person has, the more maggots there will be. This is referring to simple explanation. When a person dies, the larger he is, the more bugs are going to be eating his body. Marba Nechasim, Marba Daiga. The more assets a person has, the more worry he has. The more stuff a person has, the more worry he has. We'll learn more about this. We'll just finish the Mishnah first. Marba Nashim, Marba Kishafim. The more wives a person has, the more type of witchcraft, sorcery he has. It's talking about obviously back then when polygamy, multiple wives, was in fact permissible. Marba Shvachis, Marba Zima. The more maidservants a person has, the more lewdness there is. Marba Avaldim, Marba Gezel. The more slaves a person has, the more theft there is. But conversely, on the other side of the spectrum, Marba Torah, Marba Chaim. The more light, the more Torah a person has, the more life a person has. Marba Yeshiva, Marba Chacham. The more Yeshiva a person has, the more wisdom he will have. Marba Eitza, Marba Tavuna. The more advice, the more understanding. Marba Staka, Marba Shalom. The more charity a person gives, the more peace there's going to be. Kana Shem Tov, Kana La'atzmo. If a person acquires a good name, he acquires it for himself. Kana Lo Divrei Torah, Kana Lo Chai Olam Haba. Person who acquires Torah acquires it for the next world. What is the explanation of the more marbe basar marbarima? The more meat, the more flesh a person has, the more maggots there are, the more bugs there are. Rashi explains that a person being large won't help, like a lot of Torah. This also teaches us that when he dies, the larger he is, the more bugs are going to eat him. Rav Avajmi Bartanur explains this mission is teaching us that too much of anything is bad for us, other than Torah and tzedakah and charity. The more Torah we learn, the better, but everything else, no. Third explanation, Miri explains that Hillel is coming to teach us that our intention in this world should not be towards matters of this world. We should only indulge in what is necessary for our survival. And anyone who increases beyond his necessities is for his detriment. It's not good. He's increasing nothing. It's for his bad and it's going to damage him. Conversely, person should increase and add to matters relating to the next world. Our purpose in this world is a means to an end. Everything we do should be Torah mitzvahs, midos, good characteristics, etc. What's the explanation of marba ne chasim, marba daiga? That the more assets a person has, the more worry he has. So the Bartanur explains this teaches us that the more a person has, the more likely other people are going to try to steal it from us. And they might try to kill us in the process. If you actually look at what's going on and what's happened just this past year, there have been cases right over here in New York City with the guy with his Bitcoin, with his keys and the password to try to get in. They tortured the guy. They put, I mean, it's crazy what they're doing over here. Try to get the password for his wallet, for his crypto. Also, there was something else that recently happened. Someone was killed, famous, wealthy happens all the time. Reason two, Miri explains that he's worried that he's going to lose it. The Rima Toledo explains, the third explanation, he's going to be worried about getting more money, getting more stuff. Like the Pasuk in Koheles says, Oyev kesef lo yisava kesef. In Koheles, hey, Tess, someone who has a lot of money, he's not going to get satiated for money. He's always going to want more. What's the explanation of Marba Torah, Marba Chaim? The more Torah a person has, the more life he has. Rabbi Yonah explains that more Torah increases a person's life. This corresponds to the larger a person is, so then the more bugs are going to eat him. Pleasures shorten a person's life, unlike Torah, which lengthens a person's life. Now, this line of the Mishnah, more Torah increases one's life. Marba Torah, Marba Chaim also corresponds to Marba Nechasim, Marba Daiga. The more assets a person has, the more worry. Because worry shortens a person's life. Unlike Torah, which increases a person's life. And this is very important. People are always worried, this, that. Just relax, calm down. Now, even though Torah-related worries are a big worry, person looks around. I got so much to learn over here. And he's constantly thinking and he's thinking. No, Torah-related worries will not shorten one's life. On the contrary, Torah-related worries will increase one's life. The more one learns, the more wisdom he'll get. Marba Eitzah, Marba, Marba Yeshiva. Sorry, what did the Mishnah say over here? Marba said Marba Yeshiva, Marba Chachma. The more Yeshiva, simple explanation is the more one learns, the more wisdom he's going to get. That corresponds to the more maids a person has. Marba Shifcha, Marba Zima. So then the more lewdness there will be. Marba Staka, Marba Shalom. The more charity a person gives, the more peace there will be. That corresponds to Marba Avodim. The more slaves there are, Marba Gezel, the more theft there's going to be. Because when a person gives charity, other people benefit from that. And people begin to like this individual who gave the charity. They begin to like him. It increases peace. However, someone who advises others, and then the end of the Mishnah also, Binyamin is tying in the whole Mishnah, Marba Eitza Marba Tevuna, someone who advises others, he will get more understanding. He's also performing an act of charity. But the opposite is so with the slaves. Explanation number 2, what this means, more Torah, more life. Rash Bates explains that even though the Torah weakens a person, even so we have to realize that Torah increases our life. The Gemara in Sanhedrin on Chof Zayin Amud Beis relates, Torah weakens a person, but it still increases our life. Explanation number 3, the Rebbein Shushan explains, learning Torah will increase one's life in this world. The continuation of the Mishnah says, someone who acquires Torah acquires it for the next world. So it must be that the beginning of the Mishnah, the Reisha, refers to increasing one's life in this world. When the Mishnah said Marba Torah, Marba Chaim, that's not referring to the next world. When you learn more Torah, you're going to increase your life. That's referring to, interestingly enough, this world. How do we know? Because the end of the Mishnah. The end of the Mishnah over here says, someone who's kana Torah, kana lo adam haba, right? What's the language of the Mishnah? Mishnah says a person who acquires kana lo divrei Torah, kana lo chay olam haba, a person who acquired for himself Torah, acquired it for the next world. Oh, it must be that the beginning of the Mishnah is referring to this world. What does this mean and how is this so? Someone who learns Torah will realize that pleasures of this world aren't important. Someone who learns Torah is not going to get jealous of others. He's going to be happy with his portion. Like we're going to learn on the 4th parak, Ezehu Asher Shemeach B'chalka. Someone who is considered wealthy, someone who is happy with his lot. There's other explanations of who is considered wealthy, but that's the classic explanation, which is commonly quoted. There's other discussions. That's a whole discussion of itself. Now, if he gets afflicted, he's not going to start kicking the afflictions that come on him. He's going to accept it. That's going to increase his life. He will qualitatively have a better life. His opinion and outlook of life will be better, and his years are going to be more pleasant. That's the explanation. Marba Torah, Marba Chaim. The more Torah a person learns, the more life. Miri explains that this refers to eternal life. The continue of the Mishnah, this is the 4th explanation. Continuation of the Mishnah says, someone who acquires Torah acquires it for the next world, as we said. So that explains the beginning of the Mishnah. In other words, the Meiri kind of groups the statements together. He says when the Mishnah says Marba Torah, Marba Chaim, it's referring to life in the next world. How do we know that? From the end of the Mishnah, which specifies then you're gonna get it for the next world. Explanation number 5 is the Avos Olam. Explains that after someone dies, he's still gonna be considered alive. When if he learned a lot of Torah. The reason for this is when Torah is quoted in the name of someone deceased, his lips are moving in the grave. Right? Source of Davos Imo Bekever, the Gemara says. So therefore, that's why he's considered alive, because someone who learns Torah, puts out Sfarim, puts out videos, Shiurim, taught other people who are then going to teach the Torah that he taught them. It's considered as if he's still alive. That's why Mar B'Torah, Mar B'Chaim. He's always alive. What's the explanation of Mar B'Yeshiva, Mar B'Chachma? The more yeshiva, the more knowledge. Rashi explains, when you go and learn in a yeshiva, you're going to sharpen your mind with other scholars there. Explanation 2, Medrash Shmuel explains that someone who constantly learns, he's going to become wise. Simple explanation. Another explanation the Medrash Shmuel offers is a lot of wisdom will cause a lot of wisdom. Meaning, Marbi Yeshiva Marba Chachma means when you sit and learn in yeshiva a lot, that's going to increase wisdom for other people because students are going to come over to you and you're going to start teaching Torah. Explanation number 4, Tiferes Yisrael explains, this means that when you diligently learn Torah, right, you have to diligently learn Torah, and you also have to learn from people who are wiser than you. Marbi Yeshiva, you got to sit in front of people who are wiser than you. What's the explanation? Someone who acquires a good name for himself, acquired it for himself, and someone who acquires Torah acquired it for the next world. Medrash Shmuel explains the acquisition of a good name is beneficial in this world, whereas the acquisition of Torah is beneficial for the next world. Interesting. What's the connection between this Mishnah and the previous one? Medrash Shmuel explains the previous Mishnah discussed death. This Mishnah also discusses death, aka Marba Basa, Marba Rima. The larger one is, the more bugs will eat him. Okay, continue with the next Mishnah next time.